I've got some thoughts. Anyways, I never filmed an intro for this video. Hi everybody, my name is Shion, and today we are going to watch and react to anime that has been recommended to me on Instagram Reels. And first, I want to say, like, absolutely no hate to this person. I say it in the main video as well. Please be kind. People's tastes in shows is completely different. I feel like if you're going to make a series talking about underrated anime, that you should do a little bit of research on the show that you're recommending. Of course, this is just my opinions, like I said. If you do want to follow her content, please go ahead. I've linked her stuff down below. So in my feed, I keep getting anime recommendations, and I'm a person who watches a lot of older shows from the early 2000s, 2010s, and the late 1990s. I keep getting recommendations from people who are like either just discovering anime, haven't really watched it for that long, or maybe don't know much about like North American history of like what was popular and stuff during certain time periods when these shows were airing. And last night at like 3 a.m. When I was doom scrolling, this was the Instagram reel that made me stop scrolling. This very pretty girl, she recommended 3 psychological anime, and we're gonna watch this short. No, I'm not trying to put hate on this girl or anything. I just thought this reel was like actually hilarious as a person who has been watching anime for like, my god, over 15 years for sure now. Also, I don't really plug this, but if you're interested in seeing the shows that I have seen and what I would rate them, I do have in my anime list. I usually take part in seasonal events, so if you want to like check out what I watch and my personal taste in shows, feel free to check it out. I always link it down below just because. This is by a girl named Amber Corsett. She has a very sweet look. She has the very clean girl, soft anime, manga, romance background kind of feel that I see all over Instagram now. This was not a thing when I was in middle school, really, I feel, so it's kind of nice seeing these aesthetics come out, because when I was in elementary school, middle school, and high school, liking anime or Japanese media in general was seen as very loser-esque behavior. You were made fun of very badly for it. I went to school in a very small town with a lot of the same kids through elementary school and middle school, and kids suck. My point is I've watched a lot of shows. I feel like I can speak through this. Let's watch this reel that literally had me raging at 3 a.m. It's so crazy how far the anime community has gone. So let's just watch this. Okay, I need earbuds. I couldn't find earbuds, so we're using my Razer Krakens. Okay, let's go.
Welcome to my series where we talk about anime that do not get enough love. They do not get talked about enough for how good they are. They're underappreciated, and I want to shine some light on them.
Basically, we are looking at shows that are underrated. Anime that do not get enough love and attention. I can think of so many of my favorite shows are underrated. I can tell you right now, Sunday Without God, Capellion, and Skip Beat has a lot of love now, but she needs a season 2.
Today's episode is about psychological anime, probably my favorite genre. Starting off with my favorite one that I talk about quite a bit.
So her favorite genre is psychological anime. Me too, girl. Me too. I love a good psych. So the psych genre is actually one of the biggest genres in my opinion, and psychological can mean so many different things. Usually it's mystery. There's so many good ones. I'll give you my underrated opinions. Give me a sec to think about it.
That is Monster. There's no jump scares, just...
The woman was too stunned to speak.
Monster? Sorry. I would not call Monster underrated at all. She actually did say in the comments she didn't know how popular Monster was. She said, y'all, I didn't know Monster was considered very well known when I recommended it. I have a lot of people saying that I haven't heard of it. I would hear about Death Note, Psycho-Pass. Psycho-Pass feels more underrated to me than Monster. Just saying. But didn't know about Monster until a year or 2 ago. It's because you're late to the trend. This show went on a very long time ago, but Monster, cult classic. I know it's very well loved by those who know it. Glad it has reached lots of you. Hopefully these reach those who haven't heard of it yet. Monster is a extremely popular cult classic manga and anime. I think it's actually one of the most rated shows on my anime list, so I don't agree with this at all. This is what made me raise an eyebrow at 3 a.m. Like, what? What? Yeah.
more like a slow unraveling of a doctor who was trying to do the right thing by...
She kind of spoils like a huge part of like the first act, I feel. So like that's like a build up for the first few episodes, in my opinion. I think she just gave away a quick spoiler, in my opinion, for the first act.
Gentle gentleman, so now he has to go on the run to try to figure out what the motive is. Like, why is this happening?
And the show continually asks you what is good and what is evil.
I love that question. The morally gray of anime is just one of my favorite things. For example, one of my favorite anime, Capellion, really kind of dives into what is good, what is evil. The plot of that one is Tokyo is the nuclear zone. Kind of like if Fukushima Daiichi, it's a very famous power plant that like started melting during the tsunami that happened. So it kind of takes that, but in Tokyo and on a way bigger scale. So all of Tokyo is uninhabitable. And years later, the government actually modifies these children from fertilized eggs, and they modify them to have special abilities, and they send them to this zone to rescue anybody else who's in the nuclear zone, to organize it, so keeping tabs on criminal activity and clean up the nuclear waste. Very good, really plays into morally gray. Definitely needed season 2. Manga is good, but extremely slow. I recommend it. That one is a great morally gray show. I feel like she would probably like
I
it.
think about Monster all the time. I think it is an incredible show, 10 out of 10, perfection.
I personally would not give Monster a 10 out of 10. There is points in the show that are really, really good, but then there are also really, really low points. Yeah, not the best.
Number 2 is Odd Taxi. Do not mistake it for this.
So I've never seen this one, Odd Taxi, so this is the one I'm going to watch.
There's a disappearance of a high school girl. The main character, a taxi driver, is the last one who is seen with her. Since he's a taxi driver, he starts to pick up on conversations or notice things about these sketchy people that are hopping in his cab and realizing that they have ties back to this missing high school girl. It is very well written.
This actually sounds so good. I love a good mystery. The only thing I don't really like is animals, but if I could watch Shirokuma Cafe, I think I can get through this.
And one of the best final episodes that I have ever seen.
Okay, that's really hard. Okay, based off her list so far, I don't know if I can trust her with best final episode. I am a ending avoider. I will put off watching the last 2 episodes of a show for literal years because I hate endings. Endings are almost never done right. That being said, one of the only good endings that I have ever read in a manga was Yakusoko no Neverland, or The Promised Neverland. I loved the ending for that series. The anime, on the other hand, we all know how that went. But manga-wise, very good ending, very good build-up. Loved it. That's a very tall order, so I'm trusting you, Amber. I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna tell you guys my whole thoughts and opinions on it. It's a few days later now, and I have indeed finished Odd Taxi. Amber lied to me. Not one of the best endings I have ever watched. I was actually really let down. I feel like it needed one more episode after the huge reveal of the show to really conclude everything. It does one of these rules that in English classes, at least, you may hear about it. It's when you have one chapter or one episode in a TV show where they try and conclude every single plot point in one episode or one chapter. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but for the amount of characters and storylines that didn't really connect to each other in this show, it really tells. And I think it really just needed that one last episode to like be a decent ending for me. Other than that, it felt like they just wanted to throw twist after twist after twist at you. I saw a lot of these twists coming just because they've played in media that I have seen before, so I kind of picked out certain things. It's just, it didn't have enough. It broke rules of storytelling that once I noticed them, it really bugs me. And I think there was just too many characters, and for the amount of episodes they had, there was 2 or 3 character designated episodes, and I feel like 2 of them did not need to exist. It's one of those show don't tell, not dedicate a whole episode telling me this whole character's backstory. Episode 4 was really bad for that, and I could barely get through that episode, especially because episode 3 leaves on such a good cliffhanger that it disturbs the whole flow of the show, or at least that's my opinion. I was reading reviews of this show and I was actually shocked to see how high the ratings are on my anime list, and get this. So as you can see here, the ratings for this show are crazy. It's ranked 84th. Its popularity is 510, and over 400,000 members have this show either on their list or have completed it. I was floored because I hadn't heard of this show before. It came out in 2021, which is why I haven't seen it. I don't really watch new shows. If you do look at my list, I primarily focus on 2010s, early 2000s, and some really late 1990s stuff is my preferred area just because I like the art style a lot more. Kimura Yohei is one of my favorite voice actors, so I was really excited to see him in the cast. It's this review. I was disappointed by this. Wasn't super interested in many of the characters and backstories and twists, and reveal at the end was disappointing. Honestly, this anime is overrated. I honestly really agree with this. The twist at the end, it felt rushed. I'm sure in a manga format, because there is a manga for this show, a lot better paced. My thought is that it's quite overrated. And I know like people are gonna say like, oh well, you don't have to like everybody's recommendations online, but my point is like, if you're gonna recommend something, it should at least be underrated, and this is extremely overrated. Every single show, and this is after me editing the main part of my video, every single show that this girl has reviewed has been extremely overrated, and it feels like she has not done any basic research into looking to see if the show was actually underrated, which for people who like underrated shows and supporting underrated creators and storytellers, it stings a little, honestly, and it's kind of insulting. But I actually watched a really good clip from Swell Entertainment. I think she worded this kind of like sense of like people getting more into the anime sphere really well.
The thing that I see complaints the most, especially as a lifelong fangirl, is there are a lot of people in the gaming space, in the anime space, and the nerd space as a whole that are really bummed when they go to conventions now and artist alleys and the like, and there's been essentially an invasion of normies in these spaces because of lockdown and things like that, and people getting into new media and things like that. I'm of the opinion that new fans to a thing eventually makes the thing more accessible, or we get more options and things like that. I do think that's a good thing overall. I want all of my shows to have a bajillion and one seasons. And sometimes to get that, it means they need to be discovered by people. My fandom spaces need to be invaded so I get more media. However, if you didn't grow up in fandom spaces, you may not know the fandom etiquette, and that can be very upsetting for people that have always found community and solace in these fandom settings, okay?
I think this show and this girl's reel really plays into that.
Last but certainly not least, Higurashi no Naku Koroni. Imagine a cute little town. Everyone seems really close, almost a little too close. Best friends, these cute girls, wholesome.
Do we have to go into the When They Cry series? I will. Higurashi is one of the most popular Japanese horror medias that I can think of. They recently got a remake, which is a kind of prequel, sequel, not really anime, like a new season. The original has one of the best openings, in my opinion, like music openings. It's always playing in my head. Higurashi is an extremely popular series, in my personal opinion. Actually, no, not in my personal opinion. I know it's really fucking popular. It is extremely high-rated show for what it is. A lot of people diss the animation, but I think the simple animation actually really plays into the original art style of the games. For those who don't know, Higurashi is actually based off of a series of visual novels, and these visual novels were actually written by I can't remember if the guy was a social worker. A lot of the abuse in general that happens in that story are based off of his work. The Japanese writing in it is very, very strong. My point is, the original artwork and sprites for those games are kind of trashy, so I feel like the lower animation actually plays into that trashiness, which I really love. It is very gory. The anime isn't exactly like the visual novels. It gets very confusing because there's different timelines and stuff. And Higurashi, although it is kind of psychological, I would label it more as a mystery. It depends on the arc. Shion Sonozaki and Mion Sonozaki, so psychological. So let's just finish.
It is a fantastic psychological horror. Don't forget, this is just part one. We will be talking about many other shows that do not get enough love. Comment below if you've seen any of these, or if you just have a rec for a fantastic psychological show that you think it needs more love.
As a queen of picking the most underrated trash to watch, I disagree with almost everything she said. This is just part one of her series, I guess she's starting. But let's see. P.S. The visual novel for Higurashi is much better, so if you're able to definitely read it that way, please know it is not for the faint of heart, and please do not let children watch it. she mentioned Umineko, sorry. From the same author as Umineko, which is probably my favorite murder mystery of all time. Please read the visual novel for that one as well. Do you have over 100 hours of your time to stare at anime PNGs? No, I didn't think so. I would recommend, honestly, just watching a retrospective video if you're not into visual novels. Otherwise, please read Umineko and Higurashi. Those games are notorious for being extremely long. Somebody's so funny. Is this rage bait? Monster is literally one of the most popular anime ever. Maybe read my pinned comment before commenting stuff like this. Okay, I'm gonna stop because I hate comments like that. It does feel like rage bait, it really does, but I think she just doesn't know because, like I said, anime has only just started becoming extremely mainstream in the West. People don't know about this stuff. Anyway, let's just jump into my thoughts on this. Higurashi, extremely overrated. Monster, extremely overrated. Odd Taxi is extremely overrated. Let's pop up my PC and look at some underrated psychological shows. I'll do 3 like her. Let's go. So it's actually a few more days later and it's very late, so I have to be very quiet. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to pick 3 psychological anime off of my anime list, and based off of the stats, they're all going to be under 100,000 members. So what does this mean? It means that the ranking might be higher because there's fewer people who have rated them. All of the shows I have picked are from the 90s, just because a lot of the shows that I really like and that I think you guys will like are from the 1990s. That being said, I know that there is a lot of newer psychological shows that have come out. These are just going to be my picks, so let's jump into it. The first show I have here is Blackjack, and this is the original OVA from 1993. And I was actually really shocked because I always thought Blackjack was a classic and really popular, but every single season and spin-off is under 100,000 members, so I was really shocked with that. It's one of my personal favorites. I'm actually rewatching it for this video because I was like, is it really that psychological? It is. It makes you really think of the medical system, and it makes you think of the patient's perspective and psyche from a lot of Blackjack's cases. There's actually a whole bunch of other OVAs and spin-offs for Blackjack, as you can see here. The first OVA is very disgusting, just fair warned, so if you're grossed out by sweat or bodily fluids coming out, maybe skip episode 1. The OVA is like a monster of the week kind of thing, so very good, but there is like a child safer version that was a lot longer. I think it's like 60 episodes of this show, so I highly recommend Blackjack. I thought he was way more popular than he was, but apparently not. This is Key, the Metal Idol, and it is so good. Its question is about humanity and what does it mean to be human. Key is a cyborg, but not only that, she's a very high-tech cyborg for the time. Key's guardian, or her grandfather, passes away, and his dying message to her is that she needs to make 30,000 friends to become human. Key leaves the countryside and goes to Tokyo to try and succeed in this goal. So very, very good. She's bullied for being a cyborg. She takes things very literally, and I don't know what they did for the voice actors' voice editing, but she sounds so uncanny. I love it. But yeah, the ending for this one isn't super good, just so you know. A lot of these shows have kind of weird endings because a lot of them started off as OVAs, so like, yeah. And the very last one here is an OVA movie from 1992. This one I'm just throwing as like a wild card. Hello, Hiranazume Setsu no Ryoban. This is a movie that's, I think, around an hour long. You can actually watch it subbed on YouTube. I'm trying not to spoil this because it is a short movie, so I can't tell you a lot of the plot, but basically, yeah, this wife visits Goro, who's a PI, and begs him to find her missing husband. Some shenanigans happens along the way. It's a lot more serious. The ending to this it's okay. I think if you're looking at it from a critical standpoint, it's meh. But for shows and OVAs of this time, pretty good. I really like this because of the animation. That's why I'm throwing this in here. The set design and drawings for the backgrounds are really beautiful in this. It really gives off like 90s Tokyo vibe. I hope you guys enjoy at least one of these really random, underrated works. I know a lot of people prefer like this super new, colorful aesthetic right now. Maybe get out of your comfort zone with shows and maybe give some older other shows a chance or try out shows that just aren't always rated. There's so many amazing works out there, and I think that just listing off the same psychological shows does the whole genre a bit of a disservice, because there's so many amazing shows out there that really make you think. We can talk about Monster all day. I love Monster. We can talk about Higurashi. We can talk about All Taxi. But at the end of the day, I think we should include some wild cards in there as well that are actually underrated. If you guys have any anime suggestions, feel free to link them down below. I'm not a stickler, don't worry if it's not underrated or not. I am always looking for shows to watch. Yeah, have a great rest of your night, guys. Bye.